All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jennifer Vaughn. I'm the Marketing and Program Coordinator for the MSDS on Coursera. I'll also help us get started today, and I'll be the moderator for our Q&A session. Today, we'll be joined by Jane Wall, the Faculty Director of Data Science, Brian Zaharatos, Director of the Professional MS in Applied Mathematics, and Randall Fullington, the Director of Program Development at the University of Colorado, Boulder. Randall is going to join us in the second half of the session. So thank you for joining us today. We're really excited about this webinar, but before we get started, let's get oriented. First, please know that we're recording this webinar. We will share the recording in a few days, so don't worry if you miss something. We'll also share the slides at that time, so please don't frantically try to take screenshots or anything. You'll have access to that information. I'm going to go ahead and enable the chat in a minute. So let's get familiar with the Zoom interface. If you hover your mouse over the bottom of your screen, you'll see a chat icon. Please go ahead and click that chat icon now and type in where you're joining us from today. Thank you. We usually get people from all over the world, and it's really exciting to see where everybody's joining us from. Oh, I see Boulder, India, Singapore, Texas,
Toronto, Germany,
yeah, Denmark,
Israel,
Egypt. Yeah, cool. Lots of Estes Park. So near and far. Thank you so much for sharing. Peru, Canada, cool. Okay, this is great. I'm gonna go ahead and disable that chat function now. But don't worry. It's not the end of interaction with us. Right now, we're going to ask you to refrain from asking your questions until the end of the presentation, because we will most likely answer those questions during the presentation. However, after the presentation is done, you can use the Q&A feature by hovering your mouse toward the bottom of your screen and then clicking that Q&A icon to type in your questions. Let's get started with a poll. So first we want to know, how did you hear about the MSDS on Coursera? So I'll give you a couple minutes to put in your answers here. All right. I'll share what we're seeing. So it looks like most of you are joining us from Coursera, so thank you and welcome. A few from email, a few from some other places, but exciting to have everyone nonetheless. This webinar is going to give you an overview of the program and answer the top questions that we get from students and prospective students. As I previously mentioned, please hold off from asking your questions until the end of the presentation, but after the presentation is finished, use that Q&A feature to go ahead and let us know what your questions still are. I'm going to toss it over to Jane now, our faculty director, to kind of get into the meat of things.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're really excited about your attendance today and hope that you'll be able to join us in our program. I thought I'd start with a brief overview of what is the Master's in Data Science on Coursera and how is it different from anything else. So first off, a traditional on-campus graduate program requires a rigorous application process. What if I tell you that our program has no application? That's right, no GRE scores, no TOEFL, no letters of recommendation, and no application fee. All you need to do is prove that you can do the work and you'll be admitted into the degree program, regardless of your background. Simply complete a series of 3 courses that's called a pathway specialization with a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. That's a B average. When you complete that, you are admitted as a graduate student at the University of Colorado in Boulder. That's the power of performance-based admission. There are not any formal prerequisites for the program, but you should be familiar with Python, R, those are 2 programming languages, calculus, including derivatives and integrals, and linear algebra, specifically matrix multiplication, matrix inversion, and solving a simple linear system using matrices. But then you complete that series of 3 courses that I mentioned, pathway specialization. Now, there are 2 different pathway specializations you can choose from. If you're strong in computer science, I recommend you start with the data structures and algorithms pathway. If you're stronger in statistics, then I recommend you start with the statistical inference for data science pathway. If you're not sure you're ready to start, you can even preview a non-credit version before you start, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the next thing that's unique about this program are the courses. In a traditional program, each course is usually worth around 3 credit hours. But in this program, the courses are focused into smaller pieces because science shows that it's better to learn small chunks of information more frequently than to try to learn a large amount at once. This also helps with you pacing yourself through the courses. So each of our courses is only 1 credit hour, and you can expect to spend 5 to 8 hours per week on each class. Now, the program is 30 credits total. The 3 credits you earn from the pathway courses will count toward that 30 credit hour requirement. So that means when you complete your pathway, you will have already completed 10% of your program. And even though the courses are shorter, the program still covers the same rigorous content as an on-campus degree. So you will gain technical competency in many areas of data science, including statistics, data mining, big data architecture, and machine learning. You will also have the opportunity to apply those skills to various areas through the electives. Coursera uses mastery learning, which ensures that you understand important concepts from one lesson before moving on to the next. This scientifically proven way of teaching ensures that you actually understand the basic concepts before moving on to more complicated ones. Now, in a traditional program, there are normally 3 semesters per year if you count summer, and each semester is about 16 weeks long. Our program runs 6 sessions per year, and each session is only 8 weeks long. Most students take 3 classes per term and don't need all 8 weeks to complete a course. That's if you're full-time. It usually only takes 4 to 6 weeks to complete a course. But this program is self-paced, so you can go faster or slower if you want. And if you need a break, you could even take an entire term or 2 off. You simply need to complete all 30 credits for the program within 8 years of starting your first course for credit. Another thing that makes this program unique is the fees. So traditionally, students pay for the entire semester at once, so which means you have a large bill you have to pay upfront. On the other hand, this program allows you to pay as you go, and tuition is only $667 per credit hour. So you pay per credit hour, not per semester. That allows for maximum flexibility. And we offer more payment options. You can pay online with a US checking or savings account for no fee, a credit or debit card for a 2.75% service fee, or wire transfer via Flywire. Now remember, you can't access classes until payment is received. So finish all these steps quickly and give yourself enough time to finish the course before the end date, even if there are delays. Now, what do the MS and data science on Coursera students receive? Well, you get the exact same diploma as students in our on-campus program. There are no designations on the transcript or diploma saying that it is an online program. You will earn a fully accredited Master of Data Science. And you're invited to attend commencement on campus at CU Boulder during your graduation term. But it's not required, but you're invited to join us and we would love to meet you. Career services. Students admitted into the degree program also receive lifelong access to Handshake from CU Boulder Career Services. Now, Handshake is an online tool where you network with fellow alumni and where employers post jobs. It even has weekly virtual employer events. You also get resume review services from BMOC, and after you graduate, you'll join the Forever Buffs Alumni Association. In terms of CU policies, the CU Boulder Graduate School policies apply to the MS and data science or Coursera students too. These policies cover things like course repetition, grade replacements, academic standing, and so forth. Overall, by reducing the time commitment and the number of credit hours per course, students can earn the same rigorous degree without the intense 16-week commitment that traditional programs require. This allows you to have more flexibility in regards to time and finances. That flexibility is especially attractive to working professionals who may not be able to commit to a heavy course load for 4 months at a time. And you're probably wondering how all this works. All courses are online on Coursera. If you just want to learn the content, you can take non-credit classes there. With a monthly subscription to Coursera, you can watch videos, find readings, and complete labs and assignments. If you'd like to earn credit from CU Boulder, you must upgrade from the non-credit to the 4-credit version of the course. To do this, you complete our quick enrollment form online and pay tuition. Then new students are required to complete the onboarding course before they can access the 4-credit content. It normally takes a few hours to complete. The onboarding course does not affect your GPA and is not listed on your transcript, but this course covers program details, how to use the Coursera platform, and University of Colorado at Boulder policies. After you complete the onboarding course, you'll get access to the final exam or project. Complete that to earn a grade for the course. Students in 4-credit courses also get access to additional student services, including a CU email address, online libraries, and career services. Now you can start with non-credit classes, or you can jump right into 4-credit classes, whichever works best for you. If you're not sure you're ready for the 4-credit courses, we encourage you to enroll in the non-credit course first. Enrolling in the non-credit course first lets you find out if the online format is going to work for you. You can test your ability and practice the skills you need to complete assignments and assessments once you upgrade to the 4-credit version. Non-credit students may earn a course completion certificate and specialization completion certificates from Coursera, but this does not imply the conferral of credit from the University of Colorado at Boulder. And non-credit courses and specializations will not appear on your CU Boulder transcript. You may pay CU Boulder tuition and upgrade from non-credit to 4-credit at any time. Your previously completed assignments from the non-credit course will be automatically upgraded to your 4-credit course. You usually must complete some additional exams or projects to earn credit for a course. CU Boulder tuition includes access to the course on Coursera, and you do not need a monthly Coursera subscription while taking a 4-credit course. Please note, if you start the non-credit course and the upgrade to the 4-credit version in the same month, you will not receive a refund for Coursera's monthly subscription fee. This is because the monthly subscription fee is paid to Coursera and not to the University of Colorado at Boulder. Now let's look at some typical learner journeys. How might this work out for you? And see which of these learner journeys you think you may fit into the best. Most students are like Mohammed here. These students start by completing the 3 pathway courses. Remember, you need a B average or better, and you can choose from either data structures and algorithms or statistical inference for data science pathway. Once that's completed, you're admitted to the degree. The 3 credits you already earned toward the degree, so you need 27 more credits before you graduate. The courses are designed to be flexible, so you can take them in any order. You need to take 21 core courses total and 9 electives. There are 6 terms a year, and most students take 3 courses per term. This is equivalent to full-time graduate level study. If you follow the typical learner journey like Mohammed, you'll complete all 30 credits in about 2 years. At $667 per credit, you'll have paid a total of $20,010, and you'll earn the same diploma as an on-campus student. But the program is designed to be flexible. Some students may need more time, like Ryan here. Ryan has a busy schedule, so he takes fewer classes per term. He even takes a break from the program completely for a few terms when he is especially busy at his job. If you take this extended learner journey, just remember that you must complete the entire degree within 8 years. On the other hand, you may want to complete the degree even faster. Linda here wants to earn her MS in data science as soon as possible, so she takes 4 or 5 courses every term. At this pace, you could complete the entire degree in as little as a year. You choose the pace that is right for you. Now, this is a list of topics you will study in the degree. You can also find this on our website under curriculum. Note that the topics with an asterisk are actually what we call specializations. Specializations are a series of 1-credit courses that are linked together to cover a topic in depth. Most specializations have 3 courses, and the specializations that are in gold type, those are the pathway specializations. So you will most likely start with one of those subject areas. Now let's go over some of the most common questions we get from students. First, yes, the MS in Data Science on Coursera is fully accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. This program is not currently eligible for U.S. federal financial aid, and we don't have scholarships at this time. However, employers value the skills we teach, so we encourage you to ask your employers if they will give you tuition reimbursement for this program. Note that you cannot transfer credits from another university or campus to this program. Only courses affiliated with the MS Data Science on Coursera count toward this MSDS degree. If you have questions about the content in your courses, we strongly encourage you to use your best resource, your fellow students. Get to know them through the discussion forums or Slack channels and brainstorm together when you get stuck. When you help your classmates, you not only strengthen your own knowledge, but you also develop your professional network. You can also join your course facilitator's office hours. There you can connect with the course facilitator and ask questions about the material being covered in your class. Please note that the course facilitator, office hours, and help are only available when you're in the 4-credit version of the course. We also get questions about what our alumni do after graduation. Now, CU Boulder graduates have gone on to work at top companies like Amazon, Apple, Boeing, Disney, IBM, Lockheed Martin, NASA, NBC, and Twitter. Note that the median annual salary for data scientists is over $100,000, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and that's almost double the average median salary in the United States. Now that you know about the program, I'm sure you're wondering when you get started. Well, enrollment is open right now, and classes start on June the 28th for the next session. You can simply go to our website or the degree page on Coursera to find the Enroll Now button and get started. There's no cap on the enrollment. Tuition is due when you enroll, and if you're not sure you're ready, you can start a non-credit course today. Then you can pay tuition and upgrade it anytime after you're ready to get started for credit.
Thank you, Jane. That was a really great overview of the MSDS on Coursera program. Right now, we're going to have Brian talk about one of our core specializations available on Coursera now. It's called Statistical Modeling for Data Science Applications. So take it away, Brian.
Great, thank you. It's great to be here with you today. I just wanted to very briefly mention the Coursera course that I've developed that's part of this degree. That's actually a specialization with 3 individual courses. And this is in the sort of statistics core of the degree. So the 3 courses are Modern Regression Analysis in R, ANOVA and Experimental Design, and Generalized Linear Models and Non-Parametric Regression. So this specialization really covers some core statistical modeling techniques that are sort of essential for data science. So I teach these courses. They will be offered, in the next session that Jane just put up, and love to have you there. And as Jane mentioned, you can start these courses as non-credit courses, and if you feel comfortable with them, you can change to the 4-credit versions. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about the courses specifically during the Q&A.
Great, thank you, Brian. Remember that specialization is live on Coursera now, so you can get started right away today after this session if you're interested. Before we jump into the Q&A, we're going to do one more quick poll. Let me just launch it here. 1 second. So quick, let us know if you intend to pursue the MSDS on Coursera, or maybe you're just thinking of taking a few courses, or you're not sure what path you're going to take. We'll give you a few seconds to get those answers in. All right, it looks like there's a mix here. Some people are still deciding. Some people are sure that they want to pursue the master's degree. So that's the nice thing about this degree being so flexible, right? It can be a good fit for you regardless of what your answer to this question is. All right, now we're ready for the Q&A. So remember, go ahead and use that Q&A button, ask your questions now, and we'll kind of go in the order that we're seeing lots of questions, if we see the repeat questions and things like that. It looks like we already have a couple, so I'll just go ahead and jump right in. Can you share which of the electives are going to be part of the degree?
We're still working on adding more electives, but right now we do have some that are part of the program. We have some, let's see, I don't have that list in front of me. Jennifer, do you have that list of the electives that are available right now? Maybe I should stop my screen share and I can see if I can find it.
Yeah, I can jump to the website to show people.
Okay.
So if you go to this colorado.edu/program/data science, and then we're looking at the online program, you can see the curriculum page that Jane mentioned before. And here you can find the different courses you can sort. You just want to see pathway, you just want to see core. So if you look for elective, there's some data science methods for quality improvement and then high performance computing right now. But we are, as Jane mentioned, we are adding more electives as the program rolls out. Okay, this next question is for Brian. And it says, do you need to have completed the statistical pathways course prior to enrolling in the statistical modeling courses?
So my understanding is that technically you don't. So if you wanted to try the course, the statistical modeling specialization out first, you're welcome to do that. But I will say that that specialization does require that you have some knowledge of the statistical inference specialization.
Great.
Brian, I'm sorry, Brian, could you give them a little more details on like what level of statistical knowledge they would need to get into your course if they wanted to do that either concurrent with the pathway specialization or before they did the pathway specialization? What sort of topics are you expecting them to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So learners should be familiar with some basic mathematics that you mentioned early in the presentation. So things like basic calculus and linear algebra. And then specifically in statistics, you should have some background knowledge of probability, some background knowledge of hypothesis testing, confidence intervals, and basic estimation like maximum likelihood estimation.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
We have a question about the prerequisite knowledge for the program. How can people with a background in social sciences fare in this program?
Well, I would say you first would need, depending on your background in social sciences, right? If you've had some statistics as part of that, then you would need to pick up some of the programming pieces. But some people in social sciences have already taken some R programming. So it depends on the pieces you already know and the pieces you're missing, right? So if you know R but not Python, then I would suggest before you take any of the computer science pieces of the program, that you take an intro Python course somewhere. Coursera has lots of them available. There are MOOCs available all over the place where you can pick up Python or just self-study it. On the other hand, if you're coming from a programming you've had a lot of programming in your background, but maybe you don't know any statistics. You could take a basic statistics course just to get yourself familiar with the concepts of like mean, median, some of those things. So it just depends on what your background is. If you look through those prerequisites that we have listed, and I believe, Jennifer, don't we have on the Coursera website for the program, I think we have some links to where students can get some of those prerequisite courses if they need them.
I'm not sure if it's on the Coursera degree description page, but it is on our website, the one that I was just sharing my screen for.
Okay.
And this is kind of related. So just to confirm, you're not assuming that they're starting from scratch with this knowledge. They should have some background knowledge before they join the program, right?
Well, you need some background in R, in Python, and math before you start the program. You need sort of just a basic intro to statistics, because in our statistical inference course, we will build on that. And it does not assume a lot of statistics knowledge, but I don't want you to come in never having seen what a median or a mode is. Now, most students have gotten that at least in high school, even if they haven't taken intro stats course. And most social science students have at least taken an intro to statistics course, basic stats course, as part of their undergraduate degree. So if you've had that, then you're good to start. But I would say you need to fill in at least an intro to R and an intro to Python, and then some basic math concepts before you get going.
Thank you. What degree is awarded at the end of this course? Is it the same as the on-campus degree?
Yes, it is the same. It is a Master of Science in Data Science from the University of Colorado at Boulder. Same exact degree.
Great. This is the only MS program I've seen that doesn't require a bachelor's degree. How is it that that's possible?
Well, it's performance-based admission. So if you show you can do the work, then you're admitted to the program. So we have a lot of students who have done the equivalent of a bachelor's degree, but never got the actual piece of paper. So maybe they stopped a few credits short of being able to earn their degree, or maybe they did the equivalent in work experience, but they don't have the actual bachelor's degree. So this degree is designed to help them, as well as someone that has already a master's degree and wants to get a certification in data science and is working full-time and doesn't want to give up their full-time job to go back to school full-time just to get that certification. So
that's a great example of the flexibility we were talking about before. Okay, if enrolled in the online program, is it possible to apply to transfer to the on-site master program in the future? So to switch from the Coursera program to the residential program?
You may apply to the residential program like anybody else. However, we're not accepting transfer credits from the Coursera platform into the residential, or from the residential into the online program. It's just, even though they're awarded the same degree at the end, frankly, it's a different tuition structure. And so we would just have to work with you. If you chose to do that, you would still have to take 30 credits when you did the residential program. If you did that, you'd have to take 30 credits residential. But we probably would not require you to retake the same classes. We would have you take more electives. So that's how that would work.
Great. Since there are two pathways, this student is interested in whether the pathway that they take shows up on the degree itself. So not just listing the courses that they've taken, but they entered via X pathway.
No, that doesn't show up on your actual degree, just the courses you took and the grades you took.
Right. Can I start at any point during the year?
Yes. Now, let me qualify that. You may start at any point during the year, but there's better times to start than others, okay? You can start 2 weeks prior to the actual session start. You can enroll in that session. So the enrollment window is from 2 weeks before the session until 2 weeks before the end of the session. The session runs, and your grades have to be complete by the end of the session. So I advise you to look at the timing that you want to do and enroll early in the session so that you can complete your courses before the end of the session. If it were me and I was enrolling in a course and I had not done it in a not for credit basis, I hadn't done any of the work, I would not enroll right before the end of the session because that would only give me a couple of weeks to complete everything, right? If you're like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before the end of the session, I would say enroll in the not for credit version, start your work, and then when you can enroll in the for credit, upgrade it and transfer your grades over so you have enough time. I don't want you to be in a time constraint with only, 2.5 weeks to get all your coursework done for a course. You might pull it off, but it would just be putting a lot of stress on you that you don't need. So now's the time to enroll for the next session. So it's going to start in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and just a reminder, there is that onboarding course that you have to complete before you take your first 4-credit course. So enrolling early, there is the benefit to get that little short course out of the way. It's only a few hours, but it's kind of nice to just be done with it. Next question, it's 2 related questions. So when will all the pathway courses be available on Coursera? Right now, the statistical pathway doesn't have all 3 courses available. And then when will all of the classes be available in the program?
Well, we hope they're never all available because we're hoping we're going to be adding electives on an ongoing basis to this program as we get them developed and as faculty are able to develop more electives for you to take. But in terms of the specialization courses, I believe the last one, Randall, correct me if I'm wrong, the last one of the statistics is expected early fall?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so that should all be, the pathway specialization should be good to go for you to go ahead and get started on either of those pathway specializations. The core vital skills courses are all available now, so you can go ahead and get started on those. So if it were me and I were enrolling in this, I would pick my pathway specialization and enroll for 1 or 2 of those courses and 1 or 2 of the vital skills courses to get myself started, to make up my 2 or 3 courses that I was going to start with. I think that would be a good start for you. And I think we have enough electives in development and slated to be done within the first year so that you could complete this degree within the first year if you got started now.
Great. So if they wanted that accelerated learner journey, we're on track for that.
Right. You could do that. You just wouldn't have as many choices in electives as we will eventually have.
Right. Is a 3.0 grade required for each individual pathway course and the remaining MSDS courses, or will grades be averaged into an overall cumulative GPA?
It's the overall cumulative GPA that needs to stay above 3.0, and your pathway specialization total average GPA has to be 3.0. So you could get a C in one of them and an A in another one, and it would average, and a B in the third one, and you'd be okay to go.
I think, am I wrong, Randall? You do have to get at least a C in each course for it to count toward the degree. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How many non-credit courses can you take before changing to 4 credit?
There is no limit. You may take each and every course as a non-credit first and then transfer it and upgrade it to a 4 credit if you want to go that way.
Yeah, I think the only thing to keep in mind with that is that we do update the courses to keep them relevant. So you probably don't want to take all of them before upgrading, because if it's going to take you a while, because there may be additional coursework that you need to do after it's updated.
Oh, I wasn't saying take them all at one time.
Yeah.
I'm saying you could take like 2 not for credit now and upgrade them, and then you could take 2 more not for credit and upgrade them and so forth. That would be a way to go.
Yeah, that's a little bit less work, I think, that way than the way I was talking about. Can you either retake pathway classes or start them non-credit to ensure you get at least a 3.0? So for example, how many tries can someone take to get in is the basic question.
Yeah, I can jump in. We would, I think, very much encourage you to, if you're concerned about that, take the non-credit version first. Most of our courses, the 4 credit version, usually adds a final exam, a 4-credit final exam, and maybe a couple other learning items. But for the most part, it's that additional 4-credit exam. So I would encourage you, take the non-credit version, work through the class. You can retake it. It's the Mastery Learning concept on Coursera's platform, so you can keep going back and trying until you get the concepts. And then once you're confident with that, convert to the 4-credit version and take that final exam.
Yeah, I second that. I think that's a great way to go.
Another related question, what happens if you don't get a 3.0 GPA in the pathway courses? Can you retake them? How does that work?
So if you don't get a 3.0 in the 4-credit version of the pathway courses, you can always go over to the other pathway specialization and try to earn a 3.0 in that pathway specialization. Just know that once you get accepted into the degree, then your grades in that first pathway specialization are going to count towards your cumulative overall grades. So we definitely encourage you to do the non-credit version first if you have concerns.
What about the course repetition policy, Randall?
Yep. So once you're admitted to the degree, so let's say you take a pathway specialization and you don't do as well and you get a below a 3.0, then you move over into the other pathway specialization. You do perform well, you get a 3.0, you're admitted to the degree. Now you can go back and retake a course, each 1-credit course one time, and get a grade replacement. But you have to be admitted to the degree first in order to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Great. For the pathway courses, and this is probably a good question for any of the specializations, do you have to take them in the order listed? In other words, is course 1 a prerequisite for course 2, or can you just take them in any order?
I believe they generally build on each other, but you may take them in any order you want. But the more prudent path would be to take the first course first, and then the second one, and then the third one, just because there may be material in the previous courses that they're expecting that you already know. Now, if you already really know data structures and algorithms, you could take all 3 at one time. And that'd be fine. If you already are expert in statistics and you want to just knock that out, you could take all 3 concurrently. So there's nothing that prohibits you from doing that. It's just, if you're learning the material and it's new to you, you should really, it's going to build a little bit.
Yeah, I second that.
This question is for Brian and it's about faculty interaction and interaction with the course facilitators. So they're asking if there's office hours for the statistics class you were talking about, and how about the other classes in the program as well.
Yeah, so I have a really fantastic course facilitator for this session who's returning for next session, Eric Young, and he has regular office hours. I'm actually not sure how many per week, but it's certainly more than one. And he's been, pretty hands-on with learners. So he's been a great resource, and I've considered, I haven't done it this session, but I've considered doing, an office hour or 2 during a session where I can, jump in and get to know some of the students too. So certainly opportunities to connect with faculty and facilitators.
And I think that's the case across all of our courses. We have course facilitators for each of the courses. And if you're taking it for credit, the course facilitators will have multiple office hours in the week where you can ask them questions. They're also monitoring things like discussion boards and that kind of thing to help out if there are questions or issues.
Great. This student saw that some of the exams are proctored through ProctorU. How does that work for classes that require the use of programming software like R?
Yeah, so all of the assignments, the programming assignments so far to date, and I don't want to speak about future courses because we let our faculty, or we ask our faculty to design it how they want to design the course. But all the existing courses to date, all of the programming assignments live on platform, on Coursera's platform in something called Coursera Labs. And so when you do your proctoring, your proctored exam, that takes place on the platform.
Great.
And maybe I'll just mention that for the statistical modeling specialization, ProctorU is only required for the final exam, which doesn't explicitly require our programming. It requires you to interpret, our programming, our coding, but for the actual lab assignments, you don't have to use ProctorU.
Yeah, and for courses, some of the courses, so each course is maybe a little different, but for instance, for my course, which is data science as a field, there's some R programming that's required, but it's done by peer review for the assignments rather than ProctorU. So I think if you're required to do programming and it's not on the Coursera lab, then it will be peer reviewed rather than you having to do the coding on there.
Great. Quick question, which programming languages will be primary, Python or R? And then is SQL also used in the degree?
That would be yes. So Python is used in most of our computer science kinds of courses, whereas R is used more in the statistics types of courses. And then the electives, it's going to depend on the professor and which one they prefer. SQL, I'm not sure. I think in some of the big database courses that's used, and I know in some of the elective courses that we're looking at, SQL will be used in some of those, but you're not expected to know a lot of SQL coming into the program.
Great. A quick question about fees. In addition to the CU Boulder tuition fee, is there a fee charged by Coursera? So for example, if someone starts in non-credit, they upgrade, what are the different fees that they might see?
So Coursera does not, you don't have to register for a Coursera subscription to take the 4 credit courses. So there's no separate fee to Coursera for that. But if you do the non-credit, you're paying a fee to Coursera for that. So if you do both the non-credit and the 4 credit, then you're paying fees to both to do that. I'm not sure that was clear. So non-credit, you're paying Coursera. 4 credit, you're paying CU Boulder. And the 4 credit to CU Boulder, Coursera is getting a cut of that. We're giving them a cut of that, so that's included in that.
And once you upgrade to 4 credit, you do also become eligible for CU on Coursera, which does give you free access to non-credit courses on Coursera without that subscription. So that's a nice little bonus of paying that tuition. You do get that non-credit access for, I think it's 200 plus CU courses. So
that's once you're admitted to the program though, right? You have to have completed the pathway specialization and become a CU Boulder graduate student officially to get that. But at that point, that's a real great benefit. Then you can do any of your courses that you want as a not-for-credit without paying additional fees for the not-for-credit piece. So that's, I think, a huge benefit and a big reason to get through the pathway specialization, get admitted as a student, then you can do as many as you want in the not-for-credit space and then upgrade them and pay your tuition when you're ready.
One more quick tuition question. Is there a difference for tuition between US residents or Colorado residents and international students, or is it the same for everyone?
It's $667 per credit hour regardless.
Oh, and I lied. One more question. Is there the ability to audit courses on Coursera before you pay that subscription fee? How does that piece work?
Yeah, you can audit courses, non-credit courses, but that doesn't give you access to any of the quizzes or exams or the formative assessments and summative assessments. So you would get access to some of the videos and some of the supplementary materials, but none of the assessments. But you could certainly do that. You could do the stepping stone, right? So you start with the audit version, you watch some of the videos, some of the supplementary materials like readings, make sure, or if you're feeling confident about it, then you upgrade to a non-credit version where you're paying to work through some of those quizzes and assignments. And then if you're feeling really confident, upgrade to the 4 credit version and take that final exam and earn credit.
Yeah, or you could skip the middle piece, right? You could do the audit version where you're just seeing the material, getting a feel for it, saying, oh yeah, I can do this. Then you could go straight to the 4 credit, pay the tuition and enroll in it and take all the graded material that way.
Great. quick question about the cadence of the program. When does the next session start after this June 28th session? I think
Jennifer,
it's
I'm gonna let you
August
answer that one.
23rd.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
August 23rd.
Yeah, I can confirm.
It's about every 8 weeks, if that's helpful. So every 2 months, there's going to be a new session starting.
Do we have that
Approximately.
calendar posted somewhere, Jennifer?
Yeah, if you go to our website, the one I was showing you earlier, and one of the pages is calendar, so you can see the rest of the calendar for 2021, and then we'll be adding more terms once they're set for 2022 as well.
Could someone put the link to that in the chat box for everybody? Just so they can be exploring that website as well while we're talking, if they would like to see that.
Okay. So let's see. Now I lost my spot. Do we get a student ID card for CU that we can also access resources on campus?
So that's a good question. I don't think you get a Buff 1 card. Jennifer, you might want to back me up on this.
Yeah, you don't get you get a student ID number and you get like the way to log in online, but you don't get the physical card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you do get access to some of the, as a degree student, you would get access to certain things like the library virtually. But then for on campus, we would encourage you, and you're always welcome to come and attend the commencement ceremony once you earn the degree.
Similar question, do students get a school email once admitted?
There would be,
yes, you do. Yeah, and that's actually one of the very first steps of once you enroll in courses, you get what we call an identity key here at CU Boulder. It gives you credentials, and you get a CU Boulder email address too.
And the process for that email is shared. Once you pay the tuition, you'll get a few emails that'll walk you through the steps. You mentioned that students would have lifetime access to Handshake as a career service. Are there any other career services that are included with this program? I can jump in.
Yeah.
VMOC is an online resume review, so that's one. Also, after you graduate from the program, you do have lifetime access to Forever Buffs, the Alumni Association. So that's really great for networking. Like if you're applying for a job and you want to know someone who's in the company and kind of make some connections that way. So there are a few things there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that the Forever Buffs thing is becoming more and more international, especially as we grow this program too. So great resource for you after you graduate.
Quick related question, can an international student work in the US after graduation? Like, will they have the visa status to allow that based on this program?
No, you will not, because you never get a visa because you're not in residence for the program.
Yeah, so you might be able to get sponsored from your employer, but you won't have the like CPT, if you've heard of that, or OPT, because that requires student visa status. Are there any boot camps or resources you recommend for someone new to programming to get ready for this program?
I believe that would be on our website that Jennifer was showing earlier, those links. And we are in the process of developing some intro programming courses from our own faculty to provide you links, but those are not completed yet. So I would start with the links that are there on our website to Python and our beginning programming courses to get you up to speed.
And a related question, if you get partway through a course and find that you have underestimated your math skills or your programming skills, can you drop a course or can you repeat it without it affecting your GPA?
I'll let Randall answer this, but I know you can withdraw from a course or you can drop the course depending on the timing. So I'll let Randall get into more specifics, or Caitlin, if you're comfortable answering that, either way.
So I don't mind answering. So Once you enroll in a 4-credit version of a course, you have 14 days to drop that course with a full refund if you don't access the final exam. So there's some restricted content at the end that you're not allowed to access. As long as you meet those conditions, you can drop with a full refund. If it's past the 14 days and you haven't accessed the final exam, then you can withdraw from the course. You wouldn't get a refund, but you can certainly withdraw. And again, this is why we encourage you to look at that non-credit version first.
And the withdrawal would be a W on their transcript at that point, versus if you drop, it just doesn't show on the transcript, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And a W doesn't affect your GPA. So if you
Yeah.
did decide to withdraw, it doesn't hurt your GPA.
Right.
Is there a forum where we can talk with students that are currently in this program to get more information about this program from a student perspective? I can actually take this one. So once you're in the program, there is a Slack channel for all the students who are in the program. It's really active. Students are sharing, pictures of their weekends as well as questions about the program. So really nice way to get to know your fellow students. Before you're in the program, there's not really that kind of forum, but you can see student feedback on Coursera. So once enough feedback is submitted for a course, you can see ratings and also, reviews and comments. So that's one way to get a student perspective. We probably only have time for a few more questions. So I'm trying to cram as many in as possible. Are all the courses available for the non-credit? Is there a non-credit version for every single course?
I believe the answer is yes. There's a non-credit version available for every course.
Great. Can this degree be completed in 1 year? And how many courses are necessary to do that?
Well, yes, you can. It's 30 credits. So, and there's 6 sessions a year. So you do the math. Right? 5 credits per session would get you there.
For someone who's working full-time, how long might they expect to complete the degree if they're only taking classes part-time?
Well, that depends on your background and how much time you have outside of work to dedicate to it. I mean, if you're working a 60-hour-a-week job and have young children at home, that's different than if you're working a 40-hour-a-week job and have, say, an undergraduate degree in statistics or computer science. So, I encourage you to feel the courses out for yourself and see how many courses per session is right for you. I would say maybe 2 courses per session if you're really going to do part-time, 1 or 2 courses per session and take as much time as you need, right? So if you did just 1 course per session, right, you'd have 6 courses in a year. It would take you 5 years. If you can do 2 courses per session, then 2.5 years. So it just depends on how much time you have to dedicate and what your background is.
And I will throw out, remember, you can actually have like a vacation from courses if you need it to. So you can take a term off if you're like, oh man, I took 2 courses last term and that was really intense. I need a break. You're more than welcome to take the following term off. Just remember, you have to complete all of your courses within that 8-year limit once you start taking 4 credit courses.
Right, or you have the flexibility to take a term off, but take a couple of non-credit so you don't have the time crunch and see how much of it you get done and then upgrade 1 or both of them the next session and maybe add another course on. So you can pace yourself at whatever pace is right for you in your situation.
Yeah, great point, Jane. Quick specific questions about courses. Do we have courses on computer vision? If so, what are they? When will machine learning classes be available?
Yeah, so we do have some courses on computer vision. They're in development right now and they're slated to go live either towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year. That's actually the exact same case with our machine learning courses as well. We're hoping to launch some of them in early fall, but we can't guarantee that, but they should be live on the platform in early 2022. But the faculty are hard at work building those courses right now.
And for the last question, since I can answer it quickly, I'll squeeze it in here. At present, I see that 6 courses for credit were added to the original 10, so there's 16 credits available right now. what's the expected rollout time for 30 credits to be able to complete the degree? So we're hoping to have that, or we're planning to have all of that within a year. So if you wanted to be able to complete the whole degree in a year, there should be 30 credits there for you. You may not have as much selection, like Jane was saying, as if you waited until more courses rolled out, but you could certainly complete that degree within that year. Now, unfortunately, these are great questions, but we're almost out of time, and there's still a few questions remaining. So remember, we're gonna send out a recording of the webinar and the slides in a few days. So watch for that email. But that email is also going to have our email address on it. So if you still have questions that we couldn't get to, or you come up with new questions over the next few days, please just look for that message from us and feel free to send us an email to reach out. We're happy to answer your questions. Before we go, we're going to do one final poll to ask what you're planning to do after this webinar. So let me quick put it up and give you a couple seconds to get answers in there. Just give a few more seconds here. All right. It looks like some of you are going to check out the website and learn more. Some of you are going to start right away with those non-credit courses. Nice mix again. That's the nice thing about this program, being very flexible. So that's it, folks. We want to just thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to see all of you and hear your questions. Hopefully you found this informative, and really just have a great, wonderful day. And we hope to see you in our classes. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.